In June last year, Kenya hosted the Global Entrepreneurship Summit 2015, where United States President Barack Obama visited Kenya for the first time as a sitting United States President. Now, this year, the 7th Global Entrepreneurship Summit will take place in Stanford University in California, United States of America, and countries like Turkey, Morocco, Malaysia, United Arab Emirates, and Kenya will participate in that Global Entrepreneurship Summit. And 11 participants from Kenya are expected to showcase what they have and their ideas to potential investors. We'll be talking to 3 of those, and they'll be telling us their challenges and why they're heading to that Global Entrepreneurship Summit. Welcome to the program. Keep tweeting us. Our Twitter handle is @K24TV. Mine is @Eric Njoka. The hashtag to use tonight is Talk Central. We're glad you're watching the show. This is Talk Central on K24 TV. Keep tweeting us @K24 TV. The hashtag to use is Talk Central. Now, let me tell you something. Hosting the Global Entrepreneurship Summit in Silicon Valley will highlight America's entrepreneurial spirit, and allow American investors and entrepreneurs to see the talent, solutions, and opportunities that exist globally. Something that was said by United States President Barack Obama when he visited this country last year, a time like this. But now this is happening in the United States of America. This is the 7th Global Entrepreneurship Summit. And I have a bunch of investors, let's just say investors and entrepreneurs, who are going to present their ideas in America. And I want them to tell me what they'll be doing there and some of the ideas that they have. I have with me Tony Nyaga. He's the CEO of Strauss Energy. I also have with me Gagandeep Hayer. Do you say how that's?
Here.
Here, okay. He's from InsureAfrika, and we have Marion Moon, Wanda Organic. All right?
Thank you, Eric.
Guys, thank you very much for joining us. Maybe we can start with Gagan. Let me just call you that.
Sure.
What does InsureAfrika do?
So InsureAfrika is the first online comparison platform for insurances in Kenya. We not only just compare insurances, but we also distribute insurances on our platform. So it started with a personal experience of mine buying insurance in this country, where when I was buying a car insurance, I bought it through an intermediary, and I paid the money to him, and I never received any policy document. All I received was a sticker. And a few months down the line, when I called him and inquired, where is my policy document? I want to see what I'm covered for, what I'm not covered for. And he said that, you know, it's coming. The company's just taking too long. And that started making me think if there is an issue of intermediaries here where they are holding the information and not passing it on to the end consumers as well as to the companies. Right. And that basically gave birth, and through my personal experience of previously working in Silicon Valley in a similar industry, that's the story of insurance.
How long ago was this?
This was May of 2014 is when I bought my car insurance. November is when I found out that the company had not even received my money, and it was sitting with the intermediary, and I was not issued a policy document because of that. So about January of 2015, that is last year, we put up a team together and we launched the idea. May 2015 is when we started commercializing it on through online marketing mediums like Facebook and other Googles and other stuff.
Okay, InsureAfrika with a K.
InsureAfrika with a K, InsureAfrika.com.
All right, let me go now to Marion. Wanda Organics.
Yes.
The idea behind it.
The idea behind Wanda was to address the increasing challenges of soil infertility in Kenya. And I noticed in other parts of the world, people were using biotechnology to create bioorganic fertilizer. So I got one out of the Philippines, and I'm looking at using it here in Kenya to produce bioorganic fertilizer that we then sell to farmers to improve their soil and therefore their productivity and profitability.
Have farmers, embraced this new idea? How many farmers have you talked to around Kenya?
Yes, In agriculture, everything is about seeing is believing.
Right.
So there's a lot of education and demonstrations we have to do. And we are about 600 smallholder farmers currently, and we've started also bringing on board some of the bigger commercial farms.
Strauss Energy, Mr. Nyaga.
Correct.
On to you.
So Strauss Energy was birthed from the need of, we have big energy gap in the, at least in Kenya and in Africa at large. We're talking of us 70% who still do not have access to energy. Yet at the same time, in this continent is where we have the most sun. I don't know if you know, the sun can actually, right now, the amount of power it is releasing, it can power about 3,500 Earths. It's ridiculous, the amount of resource we have in the sun. And so, in Kenya, for example, we've only been able to generate 2,300 megawatts. But next year, we need to add an additional 5,000. So 50 years, we've generated 2,300. 1 year, we need 5,000.
Yeah.
So we were like,
will it work?
It cannot be business. It can't be business as usual. We have to introduce like a catalyst, something that will help accelerate us meeting our objectives as a country. And 2030, we need an additional 15,000 megawatts. So the idea is to make everybody a small contributor into this gap. And so we integrate solar cells into your building, like your roof. Now you don't need to roof and put solar panels. Your roof is your solar. So we integrate it. So you get it right the first time. And you actually have excess, more than you need.
Right.
So it sorts you out, and you have extra that you can sell back to the grid, and you get some little money. So we make you a small power producer. So to help in bridging this gap that we're talking about.
Okay, big ideas, and all these guys are going to the United States of America to present those ideas to potential investors. I want to know from you, there are 11 participants from Kenya going to the United States of America. How were you approached? Let me just start with Gagan.
Well, last year, sometime in the mid of last year, we had applied for a competition called InsureAfrika, which is held across Africa. There were about 600 odd startups that had applied, and they shortlisted the top 50, and then the 50 went through a certain interview process with people from America, local people, entrepreneurs who have been here and tried and tested entrepreneurship again and again. They interviewed the 50 of us. This was around the same time when President Obama was visiting for the GES here.
So this was from last year?
This from last year.
Right.
So we were fortunate enough to get selected in top 30. As part of the event, we were taken to Lagos, and that's where InsureAfrika was held. And we pitched our ideas. We had a 5 to 6 minute pitch, and we pitched amongst the 30, and then we got selected as top 5. Now, as part of the top 5, we were invited for the Global Entrepreneurship Summit this year.
How does it feel, Marion, to be among 11 participants who are representing not only Kenya, but East Africa? Because Kenya is the only country, I think, that is going to participate in this Global Entrepreneurship Summit in the United States.
It feels excellent. For us, we've been selected to speak. So that's very, very exciting to be able to share my story and learn from others as well. So I'm very, very excited.
You're very, very excited.
Yes.
I don't know if, Nyaga, will you go with, are you ready to go and just go all out and present all you have, and you get a potential investor who says, Nyaga is my guy.
Yeah.
This is the guy.
So we know energy is a very vibrant space, and actually my colleague is already there in the US. So yes, we are willing to go all the way out. We know there's a lot of interest in Africa and Kenya. We have all purposes and intend to bring a lot of money back into the country.
Right. That's the objective. That's the objective. That's what I wanted to say.
Create more employment. Make the economy even more vibrant.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. What are some of these challenges that young entrepreneurs, especially in Africa, face when, they have very big ideas, but presenting these ideas and making these ideas work is a challenge to so many young people coming up with, so many different things. You're dealing with organics, you're dealing with energy, you're dealing with insurance. Maybe, Marion, you can tell me, as a female you know, or a lady who's representing herself in the United States of America, and she's very confident that her idea will sell to so many investors who will be watching her.
Yes. Gosh, challenges are endless, but one of the things I've learned is to look at them differently, to look at challenges as opportunities, irrespective of how hard, even if it's an opportunity to learn. And you know, that persistence that you're continuing to learn, you're continuing to try, I think has really helped me get to where I am. And just to add one thing about GES, if I look at last year's experience, for me, it's not so much about the money and raising the investment, the networks you build, the knowledge you get, because there are a lot of other entrepreneurs, both your peers, but also a lot of the panelists and speakers are also very successful entrepreneurs. So there's so much you learn. And for me, that's also a key thing about going and participating in the GES. Yeah.
Gagan, what about you?
On the networking point, I remember, I'll go back a few years when I was planning to do my MBA in the United States. I was against the idea. I didn't want to go there. I was very comfortable where I was, and I was like, I'm going to do an MBA in my home country. It was my brother who pushed me, because he was in the States already. And now, after having done that MBA and come here and started my own business, I realized how important that networking part was. United States gives you a fantastic opportunity to actually network with people across the globe. The ideas that the people bring in from Asia, from Latin America, from Europe, some from remotest parts of Europe, like the newest country, Kosovo. There were a couple of students from Kosovo, and you know, the kind of ideas you come up with is quite amazing, and that is what I'm looking forward for when I go to the United States, in addition to raising capital.
Yeah, Nyaga, let me just move like this, and so that I can face you directly. I seem to lean forward a little bit. Let me just ask you, the challenges that you face in convincing Africans to appreciate energy, and especially solar.
So solar has always been, people have this notion that it's expensive, and rightfully so, because typically when somebody gives you a quote for your solar, first of all, you're thrown back. You're like, I thought this thing is free, you know. Yeah. But now we have come up with a model whereby we make it, we've lowered the entry point. Such that, because we know that the sun is continuously going to generate electricity for you. So that is the value that we actually collect over the years of the sun. So you don't need to pay the whole lump sum amount first. So because you still need to pay for your electricity, so we reduce you whatever it is that you were going to pay for your electricity by about 25 to 30%. So if I pay 5,000 for my electricity, now every month, if I have this, I don't need to, I can pay 3,500. And the initial cost is like bottom, like we put your roof at the normal cost of a typical traditional roof. So you don't need to pay anything extra. So we have lowered the cost to almost
half.
Not half.
Not half.
A fifth, 20 we've slashed 80%. Yes.
So guys should embrace solar, right?
Yes, yes.
Because I think when you talk, you're right, when you talk about solar, guys just kind of flinch a little bit and go like, why do we have to do solar? But now Strauss Energy is here and they're presenting the ideas to the United States of America. So that should keep you thinking. Yeah. I'm still with Nyaga, I'm still with Gagandeep, I'll call him Gagan, and Marion. We'll be talking about more about the ideas when we come back from this break. And Marion will be showcasing her organic products, so to speak, and what she'll be presenting there in the United States of America. Remember, this is the 7th Global Entrepreneurship Summit that will be taking place in California, United States of America. Keep watching Talk Central and conversing with us. Our Twitter handle is @K24TV. Mine is @Eric Njoka. The hashtag to use is Talk Central. We'll be right back. We're glad you're watching K24. Thank you very much for staying with us and welcome back to the program. Now, do not be surprised about this. I'll let Marion explain that to you. But the Global Entrepreneurship Summit 2016 will showcase inspiring entrepreneurs and investors from around the world, creating new opportunities for investment, partnership, and collaboration. connecting American entrepreneurs and investors with international counterparts to form lasting relationships. And that is what will happen in California, USA. Now, Marion, over to you. Explain to me, and how are you going to pitch this to the investors?
Great. So as I explained earlier, soil is a big problem in Kenya and many parts of the world. So what we do with farmers is we demonstrate. This is just a microcosm of what we do in the field, where we teach farmers, we show them what happens when you put only organic, when you mix a bit of organic and a bit of the chemical, when you use only chemical, and when there's no fertilizer. Right. And we begin to watch the plant grow. At the same time, we show farmers what happens in the soil. And what happens in the soil determines what happens above. So we teach farmers to do this. Reduce the amount of chemical you use and add organic. So you're maximizing your yields, but you're also looking after your soil so that you have sustainability. If farmers continue like this, this becomes worse and worse and worse as you kill the soil.
Oh, what a good pitch. So we are saying no to fertilizer, kinda.
We're saying reduce the chemical and add the organic, because soil fertility and crop nutrition are two different things, but they're very interrelated. So you're dealing with your soil through organic, and then you're dealing with crop nutrition through the chemical fertilizers. So a judicious mix of both is where we want farmers to go.
So what's your target? Is your target Africa? Is your target the world? What's your target really?
Well, first I have to start at home, which is Kenya. But we've already got people interested in Tanzania and Uganda and Rwanda. I'm hoping that they'll be a little bit patient so that we put up the factories in Kenya first, because it's a very bulky product, so transportation makes it a bit expensive. So if we were to like currently the factories in Manila in the Philippines, so from the Philippines to Kigali, for example, is just too expensive. So we're trying to sort of expedite putting the factories in Kenya so that we can service those markets at competitive prices.
Nyaga, I could have asked you to carry the solar panels, but I know they're kind of heavy.
Roofing tiles.
And the roofing tiles. But let me ask you this. What kind of investors are you looking at when you go to the US?
Anyone who is interested in doubling his money in the next 5 years.
Money. Question.
No, the second one is anyone who's interested in making an impact in terms of, bridging the energy gap. That's the kind of investor I'm looking. Anyone who has ideas in terms of he's run a business or she has run a business that is, that has grown from scratch up, because there's all these management and strategy issues. These are the kind of, because it's not just money. You need to come with to add strategic value in terms of your thinking, probably your experience, your networks as well. These are the kind of investors we're looking at.
These are the kinds of investors you're looking at. Gagan, insurance. When people talk about insurance, first of all, you have to... do they look aside when they talk to you when it comes to insurance?
It requires a lot of conviction.
Is the same conviction that that same challenge that you're facing when you're presenting your idea to these investors when you go to the US?
It is. The good thing is some of these countries outside of Africa, African nations, have had similar ideas, and very successfully so. I have had an opportunity to work in a similar business in the United States. Europe has some fantastic ideas which are doing that. So I'm hoping that they believe in the African story as well. The insurance industry is growing very rapidly. It's grown 16 to 20% year over year for the last 3 years. And one article actually stated that it's going to double in the next 2 years. So right there, the opportunity for every component within that industry is actually quite amazing. There are 49 insurance companies. There have been talks about mergers and acquisitions trying to reduce the number of players, because the market is not big enough for all those 49 companies to survive. However, the penetration is less than 3%. So we still have that 97% gap that all those 49 players, in addition with the other intermediaries and aggregator websites like ourselves, need to push and increase the overall penetration. So the demand is definitely there. The macro level story is there. People believe in African story. The investors need to start looking at African story and believing in it, and giving the space and time for the entrepreneurs to actually live with that idea. A lot of times we hear stories in my network that I have. The entrepreneurs start pushing the paddle too much now. We've put the money, now start showing profitability. Right. some of the big companies in the United States are still not profitable. There was a recent acquisition of a large company by another large company for a multi-billion-dollar deal. I'm not sure how much profitability was there that the company saw, but they believed in the idea. They believed in the long-term vision of that idea. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest challenges for all of us, including and the other entrepreneurs who are going to be representing Kenya, to convince them that African story is here to stay. It's long-term. Don't just look at us as a 1-year or a 2-year player. Stay with us, stay with us long, and there is definite talent, and we can get the fruits running.
Yeah, talking about talent and the African story, there's that issue of young entrepreneurs and investors. It's always a challenge to talk about that, because how can you encourage young entrepreneurs watching right now and investors who have very many ideas but they don't know the channels to use? What do they need to do you think?
Well, first you need to start. I think sometimes people spend too much time planning, thinking business is risk. So my first thing is just jump in the water and get started. And as you start, you begin to pick up traction, and then things move and grow from there.
What about you, Nyaga?
Yeah, you also need to get the people around you to critique your idea. I mean, and try and poke as many holes in a constructive way, not just to kill you. In a constructive way, to tell you where you may fall or why it may not work, so that at least you start thinking how to mitigate these kind of risks. Where you don't have strengths, get people who can help you with that, co-founders or staff who actually bridge that gap. But I agree with Marion, get going, man.
Just to add on to that, we were told in one of our events lining up to the GES was a lot of time entrepreneurs are shy of sharing ideas for whatever reason. Maybe they're scared that someone's going to copy and start doing it. Don't be scared. I mean,
and
there is already people doing it.
They are scared of criticism, like you said.
Yes.
Criticism is one of the biggest challenges I think we have in Africa, because the minute you're criticized, someone will think that this guy is jealous of what I'm doing. He doesn't want me to prosper. So I think when we're talking about young people, criticism is the first, and you're very right, Nyaga. So how do we move forward from that? How do we encourage people who are in universities right now and they want their ideas to go as far as the United States of America? And you, Gagan, you seem to be talking to these young people. What do you tell them?
Well, I wish I had. I had some really good insights to share with them.
You seem like you can talk to them. So what would you tell them?
Well, more than them, I think all the people around us, our families, our girlfriends, wives, those guys need to become supportive enough, because there is a cultural issue. Oh, you're doing a startup, so you're doing nothing, right? That is still inculcated in people's head. That needs to change. And that will change by actually seeing examples of successful entrepreneurs. I think that needs to happen. The African story needs to be now validated by one of the entrepreneurs coming up and taking the idea from just an idea stage or just a GES stage to actually raising capital, to going public if maybe, or having some acquisition, some kind of an exit. Right. That will give a lot of confidence to the budding entrepreneurs. And then to add on to Marion and Nyaga's point, don't give up. I think there is a lot. You will be facing a lot of challenges. It's been a year, and Marion was saying that it's been a long time that she's been doing this. Yeah. So don't give up. I mean,
don't give up.
Don't give up.
That's the message. Do not give up. But I want to know from you.
If I could add something quickly.
Sure.
One of the things I think they're both saying is that young people need to accept that, and I went through this, that we don't have experience. I've never run a business. It was my first business. So don't expect anything to be perfect, to be smooth, to be, I'll make a lot of mistakes. And change whatever criticism you get, stop taking it personally. It's not about me, it's about what I'm doing. And it's okay that I didn't do it right. Now I know better, so let me do better. So there's a big mental shift that people have to do. And when you make that shift, you will be shocked at how fast you grow. And once you start doing that, it's easier and easier to get, in fact, you look for it. Please give me feedback, and it's okay if it's harsh.
Yeah, if it is harsh. You are the
It's okay.
CEO of Strauss Energy.
Correct.
What is the biggest highlight of your career, apart from being chosen to participate in this Global Entrepreneurship Summit?
Wow.
Can you remember? Can you?
No, it's been interesting because, previously I was working for a multinational company, and it was really good getting a check at the end of the month. So this is this was not even like a highlight. It was probably a low light because now there's no more checks coming. Yeah, you just work on your. But the fact that people, your friends and your families will just see you and say, I believe in what you're doing. Like some will sell land, some will sell the investments and say, we'll put money into your business. These are humbling experiences. As even before we had the first product, we had people throwing, not throwing, but actually putting money in to say, I believe in what you're doing, I believe in you. Do it. These were very humbling experiences, and even moving forward, it's like the responsibility goes even higher, because now you're like, okay, it's not just me believing in myself. There's other people who are
behind you.
Yeah. So now the stakes even get higher and higher like that. So I think the fact that somebody even before the first, when we did the first, we went to my classmate and I, we went to Dandora, we collected waste plastic. We did the design, so we're both engineers, so we did the designs. Then we went to Babadogo, got a molding machine, tried to get the first cut of the prototype, because my classmate was like, we cannot talk about this anymore. If we don't do it, we never do it. If we don't do it already, let's never do it. Yeah. So Babadogo, we leased some space, and it was working the way we wanted, but it looked so ugly, the first cut. Yeah. So that's when we started refining it slowly by slowly. But I'm saying, even at that first cut, when it looked so ugly, and somebody is like, I think I can see where you guys are. Yeah,
you guys are thinking about it, you guys are doing. Yeah. But before you take a break, I want to know the biggest highlight for you and for you. I think I'll start with Marion very quickly.
My biggest highlight, maybe the last few months, that people are finally listening to me, my government is listening to me, people are taking what I'm saying and doing seriously. So I'm enjoying 2016 very much.
2016 is your year.
Yeah.
What about you, Gaga?
Well, the biggest highlight is when now, instead of us pitching to the insurance companies to come on board, now the insurance companies are getting in touch with us, which is actually makes us believe that the idea is validated, and insurance companies believe in our idea.
You see, believe and do it. You believe and do it. That's the message, by the way. You're watching Talk Central. We'll take a break right here. Keep tweeting us at K24 TV. The hashtag to use is Talk Central. We'll be back with this discussion and what is hot in and around Kenya and around the world. Keep watching. We're glad you're watching the show. This is Talk Central on K24 TV. Welcome back. I'm still with Tony Nyaga, is the CEO of Strauss Energy. I'm also with Gagandeep Haya. I'll just
you got it right.
Yeah, from InsureAfrika, and Marion Moon from Wanda Organic. Now, time for what's hot, and I'll definitely start with this. Today, Kenya's Chief Justice, Dr. Willy Mutunga, officially retires from his office 5 years after, actually it's 3 years after he took office back in 2011. What made the day more special was that today marks his 69th birthday. He was the first Chief Justice to be appointed under the new constitution. During his address to the Senate, he highlighted his successes he had overseen during his tenure, including creating exceptional working conditions at the judiciary offices, reducing the endemic institutional corruption, improving customer service since litigants, as he calls them, were treated rudely when he was taking office. So that is what is happening today. Now, yesterday there was drama in Nairobi. During a Senate committee sitting, Nairobi Governor Dr. Evans Kidero and Senator Mike Buvin Sonko engaged in an apparent physical fight. The committee adjourned briefly after the two were separated following a verbal exchange that quickly turned physical. This went viral everywhere, and I mean everywhere. So it's still going on today, so we'll be discussing about that. It was a sad ending for the parents of a young boy, Nathaniel Mwangi Ngiro. The 5-year-old boy, now listen to this, went missing 3 weeks ago on 28th of May. The kidnappers had asked for 2 million shillings in ransom money, but were only able to raise 150,000 shillings. The mother was called over the weekend to pick her child, but was unfortunate to find his lifeless body when she got there. Reports say that Nathaniel is believed to have been strangled with a rope. Okay, finally, let's just head to the United States. This past Sunday morning dealt with another blow following one of the deadliest mass shooting. Sunday at exactly 2 a.m. in the morning in an Orlando nightclub, Omar Martin, an American-born man, attacked the club and killed 49 people and wounded 53 using an assault rifle and a pistol. He was killed following a 3-hour standoff with the police. People are still commemorating this, and they're still condoling with the families of the 49 who lost their lives and the 53 who are still in hospital. Now, let's just discuss what is really happening here. I don't know what caught your eye. I'll start with Mariam.
Well, it's sad what's going on. To speak, well, first of all, I think it's great that the CJ has retired. I think it's important that people don't stay in certain positions for too long. Yeah. I think refreshing things is a good thing. And I say that from a business point of view, you know, always challenging the status quo. How do we do better? What can we do better? And that comes with also bringing fresh ideas and fresh people. So I think it's great that that is happening in the judiciary. Yeah. I wish more people would follow suit.
Do the same.
Yes.
Follow suit, yes.
I mean, about the mother and her child, that...
No words at all. It's actually sad, but everyone was at pains to even explain what really happened, because this happened during the weekend, and it's quite sad to see this.
But then, will they catch these people? You know, one of the things I always fear is if anything happened to me or my loved ones in this country, would we ever know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think something needs to be done, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah, definitely.
Nyaga was like, oh, he had the story. He was just, you know.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I mean, snuffing the life of a little one just because of, I mean, but they already had been paid some little money. I mean, anyway, I don't know what to say about that. It's terrible. Yeah. It's definitely terrible. I hope, and I don't know if our intelligence system is good enough to at least get to the root of what happened. So I hope we get to know what happened. Yeah. Because, I mean, these people need to be brought to book.
Yeah, very true, very true. So, Gagan, I think you're just mesmerized by what is happening, but I just want a comment or two from you, from what you had.
You know, today I was just listening, or for the last couple of days, we've been following the news on Orlando, and the fact that arms and ammunitions are still available, readily available for people out there to go buy or import it from somewhere, it amazes me. I mean, how is that even possible in a country like the United States? I mean, it's a technology-driven company. Why can't, I mean, just for an idea, why can't guns come with a chip which controls when to start that gun, right? Or just stop the gun selling completely? And I think it's about time that some government in the United States, or other governments also, start taking stringent steps in that direction.
Okay, we just have to wind it up there, but I want your thoughts about what is happening in the United States, the Global Entrepreneurship Summit. You're attending it. What do you expect from it, Gagan?
Well, like I said earlier, a lot of networking. I want to meet my other fellow entrepreneurs. We've been told there are about 700 entrepreneurs that are going to be coming from all over the world, which is a great experience right there to understand and hear about their ideas, to get feedback on our ideas and get their perspective of how they would do differently if they were to do it in their country. In addition to that, we're also meeting some of the renowned companies in the United States, which are multi-billion-dollar companies now, which started as a startup just like us. Just want to pose that question to them. If they were to start from Africa, how would they do it? Knowing the conditions, knowing the challenges that an African entrepreneur faces, how would they create a global company out of Africa? So I'm trying to get those kind of feedbacks in addition to obviously talking to some investors and raising some capital.
Yeah, convincing these investors. Marian, how are you going to do it?
Well, we're going to tell them about Kenya, what we've achieved, what we're doing, the potential of this country, and that we've got capable people to execute these ideas and these plans, and that they are guaranteed very good returns on investment.
Finally, Mr. Nyaga, the CEO.
Yeah. So we have, I mean, definitely meeting all these guys, different, I mean, the different flavors of ideas, different ideas, and as well as letting them know about Kenya. I mean, for sure, Kenya is a beautiful place. Is a place to be. For us as a company, because we're really looking to bridge the gap between if we can scale our operations and we get good partners, that would be great. So that at least we can spur the economy, create more jobs, and that would be a good outcome. If we can get such partners who will help us propel and scale.
And to meet Mr. Obama himself.
Oh, and to meet Mr. Obama. Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Then
yes.
there was that.
We must. He's family. You must meet
Take a
him.
selfie with him.
Oh, no. Good ambitions, and it can work. It's a good dream. Dreams are valid, like we say, right?
Yes.
So all the best, guys.
Thank
Wish
you.
you all the best when you go to California, it is.
Yes.
So if you present your ideas, we hope that these investors will buy into your ideas and buy your products and, you know, make them better. And Kenya is a place to be, like Mr. Nyaga said that. Yeah. Well, that has been Talk Central with these guys, brilliant minds, sharing their ideas with you and sharing their ideas with the world. And they're doing that this month in California, United States of America, in the 7th Global Entrepreneurship Summit. Talk Central will be right back with what's the throwback for this week and the viral video. Gagandeep, Marion, and Nyaga CEO. Thank you very much for joining us on Talk Central. I'll be right back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's a wrap on Talk Central. Thank you very much for engaging with us through our Twitter handle at K24TV and using the hashtag Talk Central. Time for the viral video this week. And I'll start with this. I don't know if you have friends or family, or just take a look at this video and know what I'm talking about. I am really not supposed to be laughing at her, but it happens quite a lot. But anyway, if you see someone in that situation, kindly assist him or her, because there are guys there are men actually, who do that. Yeah. Okay, this is about art. Animals. No, just tell me which animals you see here, but it's art. It's all about art. Just take a look at this video by Johann Stotter. Okay, there are so many animals that Johann Stotter could create through painting and using the human body as a tool or as an object. Anyway, let's take a look at this week's Throwback Thursday, the pictures that we have for you. All that is in Nairobi. The first picture is Moi Avenue. Moi Avenue, it used to be called Government Road. The second one is Biashara Street. It used to be called Indian Bazaar. Then the third picture was Jivanji Gardens. It used to be called Victoria Gardens. And the last one is Tomboya Street, which used to be called Victoria Street. I want to thank my guests tonight on this show. I've been talking to Tony Nyaga, Gagandeep Haya, and Marion Moon. All of them are among the 11 participants who will be taking part in the Global Entrepreneurship Summit in California in the United States of America this month. If you want to know what is happening, just go to www.ges2016.org. Thank you very much for watching this show. American Joker, I'll see you shortly on K24 Evening Edition.